Tell me a little bit about your role and what you do.
I am a partner of Real Ventures. Real Ventures invests in early stage technology companies, primarily in Canada. And so I feel so fortunate to be able to work with these great entrepreneurs, to meet them, to invest in them, and then mentor and guide them as they grow their business.
What drew you to this space?
So it's interesting. Like, I never really thought about myself as going into venture capital. And then I met some of the folks from Real Ventures. And what I realized was that it combined my love of entrepreneurship, my desire to help people. I mean, I love being able to mentor and advise and coach. And I love to be able to do that with entrepreneurs. And that's really what venture capital is all about.
I think it's been interesting in the tech scene, particularly in Canada over the past few years. We've seen this surge, especially in artificial intelligence startups. When we talk about that space, what do you see as far as the future of Canada in terms of AI and what's happening here today?
I think Canada has an amazing opportunity to really lead in AI. Canada has really been at the forefront of AI for many years. And now with AI really coming into the forefront, which is a combination of all of the data that is now available and all of the computing power, we have an ability to really be at the forefront. And we're seeing a lot of amazing startups and larger companies, frankly, using AI to create large companies, to create a competitive advantage, and really to transform industries.
I also get very excited as far as AI in terms of what's happening in this country, but there are times when I go to events and I look around at the startup founders and they're mostly male. What do we need to do to ensure there are more women at the table when it comes to this space?
You know, I really think of it as a holistic phase. I mean, it really starts at the high school and at the university level, and getting those girls or those women to believe from that young age that, hey, they can be entrepreneurs too, all the way up to, hey, women who are considering starting businesses, encouraging them. And I think a big part of it is just having the role models. You know, I think it's very difficult to become something that you can't see. You have to see it and believe in it before you can become it. And I think that having strong female role models is a big part of enabling these young women to believe that they can do it as well.
One of the things that we always talk about on Move the Dial is who moved the dial for our guests. In your experience and your history, who was that person?
You know, there were so many people who really moved the dial for me. And I can think about every stage in my career, and there was always somebody there who believed in me, who supported me, who said, hey, Janet, you know what, you can do it, and pushed me and believed in me and helped to create those opportunities. And I mean, that I would never be where I am today if it wasn't for those people who helped me in that way.
In your experience in terms of investing in different startup companies, how important do you think it is that those businesses have a diverse executive team? How much does that lend itself to ensuring that those companies are more successful?
So the stats clearly show that diverse teams have better results. So, I mean, all of the stats, regardless of how you slice the data, it is clear that diverse teams lead to better results. And by diversity, I don't just mean male and female. I mean diversity in terms of personality, diversity in terms of race, age, etc. And so I think for a young company, it's very important that they implant that diversity at a very young stage in the company's life, because the longer that the company goes in a certain mold, the harder it is to break out of that mold. And so it's something that I talk to all my companies about from the very beginning in terms of, okay, how are we making sure that we have a diverse leadership team as well as a diverse workforce?
When we talk about diverse teams, let's say, for example, that you have two founders and maybe two women, and they're interested in starting a technology company but don't always have the technical skills. Do you see a role for people who become startup founders who maybe don't have the technical experience? I mean, is there a way to bridge that gap?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think that when starting and scaling a business, you really need a whole wide range of skills. And no one person is ever going to have all of those skills. And that's why it really takes, a team to start a business. It's very rare that it's just a single co-founder that we invest in. Typically, we invest in two or three founders. And then even then, they need to very quickly build up that team. So my advice to anybody who's thinking about starting a business is don't think that you need to have all the skills, because nobody has all the skills, right? Think about what do you have, what can you bring to the table, and who can you get around you to support you and to bring those other skills.